Welcome to the home of where the best stuff is the wet stuff, and the wet stuff is the best stuff. Welcome to Fishy Biz Aquatics. What's crack?
First of all, let's get this out the way. I'm the Biz, Fishy Biz Aquatics, and at Fishy Biz Aquatics on YouTube, you'll get an informative channel that's fun and amazing with one of the hottest live streams called The Hot Spot. You don't want to miss that on Mondays at 9. Plus, you can catch me at Aquashellas on panel, in person. Come chop it up with your boy, and always get greeted with the what's cracking, educating today's youth and the masses. Get at me, just to cool it channel.
Fishy Biz Aquatics, professional aquatics with the amateur touch. So amateurs, yep, get that professional look.
Y'all must have forgot.
This video contains super awesome content not suitable for people who don't enjoy super awesomeness. Viewer discretion advised.
Let's go!
Yo! That's right, the Dolphins are loose. Dolphin raid, and we are in this thing here. We got the background music going. Welcome to Fishy Biz Aquatics. I am your host, Fishy Biz himself, and with me is Dan of Consolidated Fish Farms.
What's going on, everybody?
What up, man? Hey, we are bike. We came right into this thing. We're not wasting any time. We're going to let you guys know exactly what went down, and I'm not going to let you know. I'm not from Florida. I got to tell you from Florida because it affects all Floridians and somewhat oh, look at this loser. Here's a Floridian that just came in late.
Kiss it. Kiss it.
What a loser.
You know what? Whenever I come, I'm on time.
That's not true at all.
It is. It is.
It's not. That's not how that works. Anyway, you guys already know that fool down below. That's Aqua Funk in the bottom as he should be, and he is here to represent Florida in his nice white hat with nothing on it. Where do you get these generic things from? What's going on?
Hold up, you sitting in front of a green background, but no background, just a green tarp. That's what you got.
Wait, hold on, fool! You act like I can't put a background. What are you gonna put on that hat?
Huh?
What are you gonna put on that hat? You act like the background
I put Fishy Biz smells like hot
just
feet.
Can't be there. You feel me? There's background action.
But all you always do is put saltwater fish. You ain't got saltwater fish. You don't got
bricks.
A jellyfish?
I got bricks, fool. I got
in your head. In your head.
We got trout. Is that even trout? I don't know what that is.
No, you don't even know what it is. Man.
We got mbunas.
Mambunas.
And that's not
Mambunas.
That's not how you say that word, man.
That's how I say the word.
We got whales. Well, we don't got whale sharks.
It's a whale shark. I
just said that we don't have whale sharks. Get off my back. Now, what the hell's on that hat? That rhyme.
Nothing. That isn't.
What's up, man? What's up, everybody? What's up, Funk? How's it going, man?
It's weird, man. I can't call it. I can't call it.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff going on, good and bad.
All right.
You know, I like that. That's hot like that right there.
Okay. Dan, how have you been? I know you've been acclimating fish or quarantining fish. You've got your new salt water getting ready to set up so you can be like across the whole gamut out here doing your thing.
Yeah. Mondays is always the longest day for me. So I get fish in anywhere between like 1 and like 7 or 9 at night. And then saltwater acclimation takes me about 4 hours minimum. So yeah, it's kind of a long process, but it's good. It's going good. The fish came in good, so nice. I can't complain.
All right. Well, everybody's doing good. Let's see who was off up in this chat, man. Let's get right into it. We got Garcia Aquatics, who is always here first. It's Garcia is here. Emphasis on the here, apparently. I think that's how that goes.
And the Gar.
And
Garcia Aquatics here.
And the Gar. Patty Petite Tanks is here. Petty Patty is always being petty. And for those that don't know, she also has wet tuna.
Tuna patties. Tuna patties. I dropped the screw in the tuna.
Oh, Patrick, man, thank you for coming through. Patrick Jean LeBlanc is here. Hardy P. Hard. PB Aquatics, man, he hit me up today. I'm so glad to see him up here. What up, PB? What's cracking? Melly Mel on the Really Real, he's up in here. Shamu Aquariums, what's cracking? Thank you for showing up and coming through. We're rolling down. LC Aquatics is here. We're here. He's still young, remember? All right. We got peas and halves forever up in this thing. We willing and dealing. We going down here. We're going down. Says hi to Dan. Says hi to Aquafunk. Toski, who is a channel member, is up in here. Toski, we love Toski. Longtime member, friend of the channel. We're rolling down. LC is still talking stuff. I graduate on the 27th. Okay, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Congrats, man.
Hold up. Are you graduating from high school? Because I don't know what happened, but since when people graduate from 5th grade?
What?
Like
they do have a ceremony going from 5th to 6th, though.
Like when did that happen? Because that wasn't around when I was.
That's because you didn't pass. I
didn't even go to 5th grade. That's right.
Yeah,
that's
let
right.
you sneak in. Yeah. LC Aquatics, congratulations, man. It was good to hear. My students.
Congratulations.
22nd. My students.
Hey,
22nd.
What's your last name start with, LC? Because if it's an M like mine, you just take a book and just relax. Take a book and relax. They do it alphabetical order. I was an M in a large school.
Toski asked where he's headed. He said Orange Coast College. I believe that LC was actually trying to go in for some sort of marine biologist style type of something, right? Jerry was cracking.
That's awesome.
Oh, you gonna be a physiologist?
It's probably not what they're called, but maybe
that's exactly what they're called. That's exactly what they're called. Physiologists.
Is that what it is?
The study of fishy.
No.
Physiology.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, Lady Roars is here. You just can't keep making stuff up.
That's what it is.
And we're here.
A physiologist.
5th grade flashbacks of the early 70s up in here. I wasn't even thought of yet.
You know, I actually had somebody leave me a comment because I say physiologist all the time. And somebody left me a comment chastising me about not knowing what I was talking about. And I was like, bro, like, you really got to get that stick out your hiney hole because, like, for real?
Maybe they were new to the channel. You can't be running around saying wild stuff. They don't know you.
Still, I just thought it was funny. It was like
this guy's talking about some physiologists. I'm turning this off.
He said, and the term is ichthyology. You really should know what you're talking about before you have a channel. Like,
oh, he went all the way there.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
There it is. Marine science and zoology with a minor in aquarium science. Love it.
Oh, so you ain't taking physiology.
All right, Dan, let's go to you because
you're gonna study the Marines, a branch of the military.
Hey, don't make me remove you.
That's a branch of the military. Why don't he just join the Marines? Why you got to study him for?
Actually get to do what I love for a living. You got to pass the classes first. You just can't go to college and say that. You got to get the paperwork and then get the job. It's still a lot bit more to go through.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be as great as you think it is once you sitting in classes and stuff. Maybe after, but
if he's able to get straight to the joint, like if Orange Coast College is strictly one of those schools and he gets to get right into his studies, he might enjoy that because that's what he wants to do. But it's
then you got to read stuff,
doing all of the remedial stuff,
like reading.
Yeah, you got to do the English and the reading and the prerequisites and all of that jazz.
Essays and
papers. LC, let me give you two things. One, do you want to be a teacher? And it's going to go yes or no. If you don't want to be a teacher, your whole life is going to be evolved around grant work. Expect to need a graduate degree, master's and up, if you're going for marine science. Because if you're doing marine science, you're either teaching or you go into grad school to go get grants and make your own way out of it. Typically PhDs and higher. Yeah. Hit me up. I can point you to some people down here to get you some internships if you decide that's the route you want to go.
That's right. So you're talking about 40 more years of school, at least.
Dude, what is dude? Hey man, shut up, man. What are you be talking about down there?
I'm trying to help the young buck out, man.
You are not helping. LC, Dan, we'll get you Dan's information.
Hit me up.
Just hit me up. He says. Hit me up. He says. All right, LC.
I got you.
What's your Consolidated Fish Farms at what? Gmail? No.
Send it to Dan at consolidatedff.com.
Oh yeah, Dan at consolidatedff.com. LC.
Yeah.
Hit him up.
Shoot me a message,
man, so you can holler at you.
Yep.
I'm with Funk.
Aquafunk00 at AOL.
No one cares. At AOL. You still got a Gmail from the 90s? All right, let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. All right, Dan, you're the man. Holla at us, man. So you I don't know if it's better to put you
big screen.
Just there.
That's not it.
Here, we'll just put you back over there.
Whatever. That's
okay. All right. So I talked to you earlier. I missed the meeting and the verdict about what was going on. You gave me a little insight. Let the people know what happened. For those of you guys that are just now joining us, Florida was in lieu of getting a white list put on their fish. So their fish would have had to be put on this white list as meaning that you in Florida could not have them, sell them, trade them under penalty of law. Correct?
You could have them if they were on the list, but you couldn't if they weren't on the list.
All right, so you could have them
way worse
on the list, but you couldn't have them if they weren't on the list.
Correct.
And they were talking about over how many species of fish?
It was over 20,000 with everything involved. Probably is closer to 35.
That was not on the list, on the white list.
None of it. There was no list made. Industry had a list of animals of what they wanted to put on there. It ended up being probably closer to 30, I think, when they finished. But what happened at the meeting is before the presentation that FWC gave about what they were asking, which was the proposed rules, the commissioners came up because I guess they get a briefing on the presentation ahead of time. And they flat out came out early and said, hey, we're not going to vote on this today at all because we didn't realize there were so many species. They were under the assumption there was something like 3,000 species in trade. They had no idea there were 20,000 plus species in trade. So this comes up several times during the meeting, which I'm like, how does that make any sense that they didn't know that? So they go through a presentation of what to expect. The people presenting it, which is what makes me a little aggravated, they presented the options that this committee that they had devised of industry, environmentalists, everybody across the board, federal fish and wildlife, and they presented these options to the commissioners to vote on. One was option one, where there was going to be a white list where all the species that were in trade would be allowed. The second option was basically anything that didn't have a quote unquote risk assessment, meaning if that species was not determined or had an unknown level of risk, it would not be allowed in trade at all. Those were the two options. Option one had 24 votes. 16 of them voted against option one, meaning basically majority. 8 of them voted for it, which were the environmentalists. Option two, 24 people voted and 0 people voted for it, meaning even the environmentalists were against it. So they posed it at the meeting that option one had support, which it did not. It all got actually majority voted would have been against both options, but they still presented the options anyway. For what reason, I don't know. And then because they did this beforehand, obviously the commissioners aren't voting on it, but they brought up a point in it that said, well, we didn't know what species. For those of you who don't know, if anything ever gets imported as a live animal into any state, no matter what state it is, you have to file like an e-declaration form of every species you are bringing in, and you must have the scientific names to match, no matter what. Otherwise, it gets denied entry, and you lose that whole shipment.
Wow.
And you must submit it so far in advance of your shipment arriving, typically like 48 to 72 hours. So the fact that they don't have the list was kind of baffling to me. Like, hey, we have to submit lists and keep records for 5 years on every animal. How do you not have a master list that you can pull from the database?
And
you have...
These are the people that are making decisions and don't even know.
Correct. The only thing I could think of is because the people that check us at the port is U.S. Fish and Wildlife, which is federal, and this is a state agency. They don't have access to the same records. That's the only thing I could think of, but nobody knew. But even then, it should be easy to get those records if they wanted them. However, industry even made a list and said, hey, these are the species in trade. They're 20,000+ species. They're in trade. So they decided to basically push it off to next meetings to come up with a better solution because the ones presented were not going to work.
Right.
So that made me optimistic that they're going to come back and say, hey, we need to go after a blacklist, which is what we have now. Mm-hmm. They just hired, I don't know what the correct verbiage is, but they hired a new executive director who comes from an aquaculture or in fisheries background, but also worked in law enforcement for FWC, I think for like 20 years. So that guy is the new director, and he has already expressed that he is going to come to the next advisory meeting to help come up with a solution that works for everybody. So I'm optimistic now moving forward that Florida's probably going to be okay. I guess we're going to have to find out what happens at the next meeting on how he actually plays it out. I'm optimistic he's going to say, yeah, blacklist makes more sense for me to enforce it because I can't enforce 20,000+ species in a building. I'll be there 2 days on my building, and I'm small. They start going to the big guys and see 10,000 species in a clip. You're not identifying those animals. And then you start talking about all the different animals that change colors over their lifespan. You've got juveniles versus adults. They're never going to know the difference in that. And that's the crazy part about all that. So long story short, I felt it went well. It went good. And then normally at these meetings, you only have about 15 to 20 people speak for public comment. And we had 54 people speak at this event on this issue. 50 of them, I believe, or 49 of them were against the proposed whitelist and said, hey, if this gets implemented, this is our livelihoods. This is it. We're gone. And we're talking all the big guns were at the show. Mm-hmm. All the Seagrasses and 5Ds of the world. These people rake in, let's say a little over $100-something million combined. They probably have 300-400 jobs between two of them. They're gone. They're moving. They're out of state. immediately when this goes into
What
effect.
states were they talking about moving to? They like actually said it at the meeting, like we're headed to if you guys do.
We're forced to move out of state. I don't know if they mentioned forced out of state, but Seagrass already has another distributor partner up north where they could just move their stuff to. Other states, I'm sure that they would move to just because it makes sense to us, because that's what we were looking at was Dallas, Texas, because Dallas is a good hub. They bring in a lot of fish, a lot of direct flights. It's a port you can bring stuff into. Chicago's big because there's multiple airports, and that's another hub for bringing stuff into the country.
Don't want to live in
so
Chicago.
that's one. And then Atlanta was the other one because Atlanta is one of the largest hubs. You can get fish in from Asia and from Africa directly into Atlanta.
And now you're saying the next meeting it's up to one man to decide if he's going to go with the majority that don't want to do the whitelist, and if he just says, you know what, screw y'all, whitelist everything. It could.
Well, he could.
Or
I'm hopeful when he goes this meeting and they see 20. Yeah, when he sees the people talking about what's best for everyone moving forward, I'm hoping he takes that into account and says, hey, listen, if you're going to try to make these rules or advise these rules, it needs to be enforceable. Because that's what he does. He's law enforcement. And I'm optimistic he's going to come back and say, hey, let's just go back and cover and see what we need to get rid of. What fish species are going to could potentially become apex predators and ruin our environments. Now, a couple notes to mention, which I mentioned a bit earlier, which is interesting. Oscars, peacock bass, and blue tilapia would be considered somewhat invasive. FWC is who released Oscars way back, and I think it was the 70s or 80s, for vegetation control. That's when they originally were introduced, is what I was being told from a handful of people.
So
blue tilapia, they released them in the environment to deal with vegetation, which makes no sense.
They're saying they're going to whitelist the Oscars that they released 30 years ago.
Well, I don't know. They haven't made a decision on the species, but just something to mention. Peacock bass also released the same way. Peacock bass are now, like, nobody considers them invasive. They're actually regulated by FWC for fishing regulations. Like, you have bag limits now on peacock bass here in Florida.
Because it brings in money.
Because it's revenue, right? And then blue tilapia were accidentally introduced for vegetation control, but they thought they bought Nile perch. So they misidentified the species and introduced it, and it was actually blue tilapia. And that's where all the blue tilapia are everywhere in Florida.
Yeah.
So just a couple important facts to kind of think about.
I got a question. I got a question.
What you got?
Question, no Funk.
Yeah.
Samuel says, I moved to Florida in 2021 and only lasted for a month. Hearing about the situation in Florida makes me glad I moved back to Cali. But I saw so many big plecos in Florida, it's bad.
Going back to Cali.
I was just about to say when I said it, Florida is fish heaven, and some facts from Patrick. It's two countries called Florida, Republic of East Florida and the Republic of the West Florida. Fish Fan Link, show that you're having a good time by hitting the like button. Send clown gish as well. Oh, said clownfish as well, maybe? Is that what you're saying, BB?
I think he's saying and clownfish.
Oh, and clownfish as well. Okay.
So what? I don't know. He's on that stuff.
Your
He's
hands
on that
too
stuff.
fat for your buttons, man. I've never seen hands too fat for laptop buttons.
His
Hey, Dan said that he was gonna have PB as a driver possibly for him. I was like, those fish will
Hell yeah, man.
Those fish will never make it. PB is
Dude, PB's the man. He picked up fish for me in Miami when I was in a jam. I had my fish got delayed on a flight, and they were going to put them on like 4 different flights because they wrote down my box dimensions in freaking inches, and it came in as centimeters because it's coming in from Colombia. So they had my fish split up on 3 flights, and I couldn't get a hold of the agent there because they're like a third-party company. And I was like, bro, can you go grab my fish for me? Like, I got you. I'm heading down there now, but it's going to take me 4 hours to get to you. And they closed before I could get to them. So, man, he came and picked up my fish for me.
Where PB was.
How long did
He's probably an hour from the airport.
How long did it take him? 20
to
minutes.
get to back to Tampa.
No. I went and picked him up in West Palm, and then he did it again for me the second time, and I met him halfway. I think we met in Sebring. I think that's where we met. Yeah. He had a policy: hour or less, he'll be there no matter what. It's there. It's like pizza delivery, man. He's there. He's got this.
Them fish are gonna need counseling. I'm just letting you know. The fish got PTSD. You're gonna have to
45 minutes.
So
45 minutes or less.
They're gonna be bombing, man.
I have a serious question though. This commissioner or commissioners, is it one or plural?
One is pushing it. Another one kind of agrees. The other three really don't, or the other four really don't say a whole lot.
Now, these commissioners, are they designated for fish and wildlife or agriculture? Are they specifically for that?
They are for their job, and their role is to basically regulate the fishing industry. Okay. They deal with a lot of any of the species coming in and out of Florida. So they're the border control for species coming in. They don't regulate anything with aquaculture, agriculture. All
right. Ultimately, this is my question. What is the qualifications? Because they don't seem to know nothing about the industry. So how do they get this job? Like, I can't become... You know, like I can't become, like a manager of a. Well, I mean, I know some managers who don't know what the hell they doing, but for the most part, you have to know about the thing that you're regulating.
No, you don't have to know anything. This is basically based on money. This is an appointment from the governor. He appoints, or other past governors will appoint them. If you look at their qualifications, every single one of them are land developers or in real estate of some level, hedge fund, private equity.
Okay,
all of them.
That brings me to my second question, because I'm an untrusting. I always think the man is out to get you. You know what I'm
100%.
saying? That's me.
No,
you know what I mean.
We have a twofer.
So we have to talk. Who? What you call me?
You have a second question. So we have a twofer.
Well, he brought it up. It's a one. It was a one fur, and then he brought it up. Now it's another fur.
Shut up! It's no one fur. It's only a twofer.
It's a one fur when I say it.
You suck so bad at saying things. Your words just aren't wording. Your words never be wording.
I mean, I can't help. I mean, if you guys don't live in Florida.
That's your That's you Floridians.
East Texas, is that fair? Yeah, we'll call it East Texas. All you see is land development. All over, everywhere you go. I came to Lakeland thinking it was gonna be calm, but even Lakeland is blowing up with land development, all like big land. So what's the chances of them trying to push getting some land if all these guys are land? I mean,
Yeah, no, I understand that. I don't know. That was always my biggest conspiracy. I'm like,
but they gonna get rid of the fish and dry up the water and turn it into land and take it over?
His property right now.
Look at where I'm at. If you look at where you've been there, like look around where my farm was. What do you see on every corner, all three sides? It's all development. It's houses. It's community houses.
Have your pits with your fish in them, no?
Yeah, ponds. We have the last bit of land probably on that side of the road for like 40 miles, bro. Everything else is development. Everything else.
Hey, if you funk, because look, I know what a pond looks like, but it looked like a pit when you first look at it, and then it gets to the water area.
No,
I was only there for a short time. It was hot. It seemed like
there was 30 of them, man. What are you at?
Hey, it was a mirage. I was so hot after you came out of there. I was hallucinating. I don't know. Maybe
you went through like 5 towels in 20 minutes. You didn't bring enough towels, bro.
It was wet as hell. It was ridiculous.
You had to bring a change of clothes next time.
Yeah, seriously.
In a bathing suit, apparently.
I'm coming in. I'm just walking in my drawers next time. That's it.
Perfect. Fit right in here in Florida.
Hey, Is
Hey,
there a
someone
difference?
said, "How long have you been in Florida?" Funk or Toski said, "No one in charge is qualified here." And then we're keeping opinions to ourselves by Patty. Those fouls and make up the rules. Smoking at it. Mary Jane just say no. Consolidated Fish Farm is on some prime real estate, yo. Jerry's Fish Room building is happening because everyone wants out of where they live.
True.
Big facts with Danny Westy on the Joe Biden remark. All right, what you were saying?
What was your two for question?
Well, I got more questions. I wrote a list.
Oh my god.
Oh, all right. What you got?
I wrote me a manual, step-by-step booklet. All right, so this is another one I had to ask because I mean, I know enough to know that it seems like there's a difference between agriculture and the pet trade. Are they governed by the same people?
No.
Okay.
They are different. So that's a good distinction. So agriculture, or in our cases, aquaculture, are governed from an agency, Department of Ag or Department of Aquaculture. We just got rules passed that said they are the leading jurisdiction on that area. So there's a duplication of rules if they were to publish a whitelist, because if there's fish not on that list that are being farmed, that would basically trigger a lawsuit from the Department of Ag that says, hey, we're farming these fish. You can't not let us bring those fish in because we need new brood stock. We got to have ways that for our farmers to get those fish, and we're the leading authority on that. So you're going to have to fix that. Now, the pet trade is only really regulated by FWC, I guess, in the most part. And it's just, I don't know much about how they're doing a lot of their regulating, other than they visit pet stores and make sure if you've got special permits and special animals, you've got to have special containment in containment cases, meaning if you're keeping certain reptiles, they got to be, enclosed, locks, special things for different animals if they require it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely two different bodies that deal with all that.
All right, but these laws would encompass both, right? This whitelist, blacklist would encompass both.
It would be. I'd say the problem would be is like it's only going to duplicate at where the species are being farmed is different, which is about 400 to 500 species.
All right. And I just have one last question. You said 50 people spoke.
54.
54.
And 50 were.
Now, even though this is a Florida thing,
Yep.
any of those 50 people were from out of state, because this affects pet stores all over the country?
So PJAC, what are they called now? Pet Advocacy Network. They basically represent pet stores all over the country in lobbying and legislation type things. They spoke. Okay. They gave infographics of what it would affect in Florida. They do a really good job, and I really wish I didn't know much about them, but I didn't realize how much work they actually do. They would be a great organization to support in everybody's state, because they do lobbying efforts at the national level, and when things happen in certain states, they go to those states. Like they showed the meeting, they spoke, they gave their facts. They said how many jobs and money this is going to affect. They have statistics and sources to back it. So they're a great organization. I'll post some links for them I can find it, but they're called the Pet Advocacy Network.
Was PETA involved?
No. Humane Society was involved.
Okay.
They sit on the tag committee. But yeah, and they were for a whitelist. I mean, other than that, that's all I know. Even though I don't understand how they have a ball game in it, because we're not talking about the welfare of animals here. This isn't like ethics and welfare to do with animals and well-being. This isn't that.
They probably looking in hindsight that if it is on blacklist, then these animals could come to harm. They probably made some sort of little gesture like that.
I don't know. I was told they make so much think about so many things that they would they just got a board seat because they cry too much.
They're gonna put me on the blacklist because I'm an apex predator.
Yeah, they are. They're gonna
put you on the blacklist because you have that white hat.
I'm gonna put you.
Jasonus Maldonadinus.
Yes.
Peter shouldn't be involved with anything.
You know what? When I was younger, PETA was supposed to be like the good guys.
Yeah.
What happened to that?
But you know what? The PETA is supposed to be jumping in there at all times, and you still got to give money to these homeless, hungry, harmed on animals. Like, where are you guys at, man?
Yeah, them dogs.
Yeah.
Feel the time. You'd be like, oh my god.
Them dogs be pathetic.
You can find. Like, I'm waiting on, like, yo, this commercial long as hell, son. Just put all of the mangled up dogs into one shot and let's just get it going.
I know somebody on that film crew got a sandwich. Give that dog a sandwich. Just, hey, don't feed the dog. Don't feed him. Let him stay hungry for the picture. He look nice and pathetic, just the way we like him. Nice and pathetic.
That's terrible. PETA kills more animals than anyone else. That's crazy. Hell, Texas has the largest Nigerian population in the USA, and two different Nigerian cultures who can't get along with Nigeria, and they are number one prison guards in Texas.
Interesting.
Another fact from Patrick Henry from P. Hart. They literally take dogs from people and euthanize them. Damn. Well, there you go. Stay away from our fish, PETA.
So what's next?
How long did that meeting last?
I didn't watch the rest of it because they had to deal with other things, but it was about a little over an hour and a half, 2 hours.
And still, even there is just, as soon as they came out and said we didn't know it was that many species involved, we got to think about this. It should have just been like, dude, what the hell is wrong with you guys?
I mean, that was a lot of the topics that were spoken. They're like, a lot of the people that came up and gave public comment, they're like, listen, like, we have to submit lists of every species we bring in every single time, and we have to keep that list for 5 years. If you want a list, why didn't you just ask your internals? How could you not just go get those lists? And I don't know the answer to that other than I don't know. But we have to file it every time we import. So, not sure.
Well, he goes on to say a Nigerian billionaire also controls 90% of the Houston ship channel today.
Wow.
That's probably good to know.
Hey,
all you gotta do is get buddy with this Nigerian guy, and then you can do whatever you want across the ocean there.
Dan, I did a live stream where somebody asked me about the whitelist and blacklist, right? And to be honest with you, other than what you told me, which was kind of fast, I had no way of being, exact on anything.
You probably said that the two lists got together and made a mixed list. That's what you probably said.
They had jungle fever. I said the list had jungle fever. And you should mind your business. Now, so what I said was, this is what I said, and you tell me if you found this to be true. Most people just like to talk about issues like this, like,
Yeah.
Talk. Have you really seen any support from the general public, or do they just like to talk? Because I'm under the belief that people like, that's terrible, but I don't want to have to go down there and protest. Let somebody else do that. I mean, really, have you found the general public really doing anything, or is it just blah blah blah?
You mean on which side?
The pro fish side.
I think I'd seen a few people go down and do things, but the problem is with these large meetings is they're typically like, they're not really spontaneous, but like it's kind of hard to see. Like, I mean, the people in the chain are going down and making stink, right? The people that work in the chain, the farmers, the distributors, the wholesalers, the importers, the all of them. Yeah, those people are definitely being involved. The hobbyists that keeps aquariums, signing some petitions and stuff. I think that's honestly pretty good. I haven't seen no protest saying you're going to take my fish away from me, because it was being voted on, but there were still going to have to be other rules be made anyway. So I don't know if anybody made the meeting that did that. There always is going to be more stink on the other side of things, from the animal whitelist side, which is people that just don't understand. I don't know. I mean, their thought process is keep everything out at all costs, no matter what, no matter the economic impact, no matter what.
And I asked you this before when we was talking about it. It was curious to me. Florida's mad red state, super red. They don't like regulations. Nope. How is this a thing? You would figure a conservative state, a red state, would be like, yeah, we're not regulating squat. It's a God-given right. You ain't gonna take my fish unless it's from my cold dead hands. So how did this get to where it's at in a state like Florida?
Fish don't take bullets or shoot anybody.
Yep. Fair.
Mine do.
Do they?
Yes.
I hate you so much.
You don't know nothing about these fish.
He wears red-tailed catfish on his chest just in case.
They cool. I was about to let them go. They cool. They good. They just messing around. Go ahead.
What a loser.
No, I have a theory, and I don't know how close I am, but they're appointed. These guys are appointed by the governor. Governor's in an election cycle. The governor is going to run for president. I imagine this was a hot button issue, and that the main commissioner pushing this was looking for a seat in his cabinet. Some sort of chief of staff, some sort of option.
Oh, snap. He was trying to bogart his way into the office.
That's what I think. I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's all theory. It's all conjecture.
That's what we're going
I don't know. But also on top of that, you got to think about it in terms of, like, he comes from an area where there's a lot of pythons and tegus in a very rich, eclectic part of Miami. So the people he sees all the day are his neighbors complaining about tegus and pythons. So what's he going to do? Hey, we got to get rid of these animals because all I hear is people complaining about them. And if you look at the meeting, the only thing they use as examples are tegus and pythons. They don't use fish.
Damn, for real?
So they didn't even know.
Easy.
But I thought he was going to push this through to show how well he could get bipartisan support for this, because Rubio also supports this, by the way. He's the one that's been pushing for a whitelist in Miami because of all these freaking animals. Rubio. And he's red as can be. So I think it was a political push to get this in through to show he could do it. And then when he realized, if I do this, it's going to cost tens of thousands of jobs, that is going to look bad on the governor and probably not the best strategic move. Because you would be destroyed on a panel. Governor, how do you deal with closing on an entire industry that you're actually, you're restricting regulations is going to cost tens of thousands of jobs? Like, that's a bad look.
Yeah.
That's a bad look. And everything is about, I noticed this a long time ago. In this business, it's either about money, power, or optics, or some combination of. And if it looks bad enough, they are not going to do it. And this looks bad.
If it's just now joining us, we're talking about the white list in Florida and how it was a split decision, which ended into a unanimous non-decision because apparently they didn't know how many fish they were talking about here.
The white list. The white list is about fish? I thought it was a clan thing.
More at 11. Hey, and Mickey M says, honestly, looking from abroad, I thought Peter was the meaning of what is written on Etsy's shirt, people eating tasty animals. And then Coral Works comes in with chocolate starfish.
And hot dog flavored water. No one's going to get that reference. There's no way.
I've hot dog flavored water. I don't get it.
Yeah. Chocolate starfish guy, or I don't, who said chocolate starfish?
Chrono Works.
Maybe, I don't know. You'd have to see. If you get it, put it in the comment.
I know. Okay. I'm going to have to Google some stuff after this live. Hot dog flavored water.
The president of our fish club went down on someone. I mean, went down as one of the people that. Oh, the people that spoke at the meeting. I didn't.
What meeting?
And what? It was a sum.
What meeting? I'm going.
God dang it, Biz. You got to learn to read faster. The fish club went down. Pause. As one of the people who spoke at the meeting. Read faster.
Hey, look, I forgot because and was is like a advernoun. I missed.
Toski. Was that the Tampa? Was that the Tampa Society, Aquarium Society?
No, I think it was Space Coast.
Space Coast. The president is doing like that to get members.
No.
Yeah, we actually invited the Space Force too. Space Force and Space Coast Aquarium Society.
Space Ghost from coast to coast.
From coast to coast to Space Coast, Space Force. They're all down there.
There it is. I'm somewhat been hating on Florida fish keeping, man. They have all those fish I would like to keep. Live bearers. Kenny E is in this thing. I was surprised that there weren't more YouTubers involved. A lot of animal channels are based in Florida. Yeah.
Reptile people were big. Reptile people were huge on making videos on YouTube.
Can I be honest, man? I get a little bit fatigued from all the
honest all the time, but go ahead. Be honest this time.
That's your fault. That's your fault. Didn't nobody tell you to believe that.
So you're not. Can I be honest this time? That's what you want right now?
Yeah, just this time. All that other stuff, whatevers. I'm kind of. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm a little bit between. What was it just recently before this one? It seems like there's always some.
You mean the Lacey Act?
Yeah, it's like it gets fatiguing after a while. You know, like every time you turn around, it's like, oh man, again, I gotta be up in arms for what now? What do I have to be upset about now? You know,
it's nerve wracking. Me and a couple other people in industry were talking like the ups and downs is, dude, it's weighing, man. Because you're like, if this goes through, how long do I have a job? Because it's gonna just crush everybody. Like all the big guys are gone. There's no fish coming in. Very few people in the States actually distribute. There's only like a handful of us to do it. Like, it's crazy. Like one guy was posting about, I was reading his emails and just, he was just thinking, hey, am I going to go to pharmaceutical sales? Am I moving it? Can we move this to Dallas? Can we move this somewhere else? Like, dude, it's gut wrenching to think about how much displacement would be because of it. Well, I'm tired. I'm at least glad we got a break from it for now.
Dan was over there talking about, man, I might have to uproot, and we've already talked about where we're going to move to. I was like, damn, the whole thing? Like
dude, we talked about going to Dallas. We straight up talked about going to Dallas.
Yeah, like it's got a gun. It's coming with us. You would also figure a red state wouldn't go after private businesses, but here we are, says Patty. And Chrono, honestly, if it was no matter the economic impact, that would make sense. But they didn't ban the Bradford pear tree again because nurseries make bank on those. Snakes don't make money for the state.
But check it out. There is an upside to all this. You got some people out there that would take this opportunity to start their own little side hustle and start hustling fish. How much do you think fish would cost? Honestly, like if you had to get like black market fish on the corner by your cousin.
They'd probably be normal. Honestly, I think there's a limit. I don't know. I mean, unless you get like some real exclusive fish that you're not going to find places like, I don't think they would go up that much. Sure, they'd go up, but it ain't going to be that much because your market's going to be slim.
But if everything goes up even just a little, I mean,
I'm talking about illegal selling.
Like, would you pay?
You're talking about if they went black market, like if everything was on the black market, what would fish go for?
Okay, yeah.
Selling illegal fish, like I'm over here breeding fish that like Oscars and stuff, and you can't.
I got
Oscars
black arowanas.
Yeah, I got me some.
I don't know.
I got me some Rams. What you talking about? I got me some Rams. What's up?
I don't know. I don't know if the price would go up that much, to be honest.
I'll be straight up hustling fish, like a dealer on the corner.
Wait, Dan has to file paperwork to get into the state, but when it comes to anything else, there is a court date 10 years into the future. File paperwork to get into the state, but when it comes to anything else, there is a court date 10 years into the future. Or maybe are you talking about
out of context? Yeah, you reading something?
Yeah, Jerry, let me know. I mean, I got permits. I file every year. I don't even know how many now. A bunch.
PB's out of here. I was referencing
Later, PB.
the Biscuit song, says Coral.
There we go. That's it.
Limp Biscuit.
Limp Biscuit, man. When I was a kid, that was the first concert I ever went to, and I listened to a song called "Break Stuff" and got hit in the head with like a metal boot.
Doves
Bro, I was in my teens. I think I was like a sophomore in high school or something like that. And I just sitting there, not even in the mosh pit, minding my own business, in this big ass boot. Boom! Right in the side of the head. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go hang back further because I was not far enough away.
Excuse me.
I've never been to a concert before in my life.
The President Club was tossing salad. Space
Yeah, I'm gonna start going to aquarium clubs now.
Finally, paying dues will be worth it if they're going down.
Oh, you thought there was going to be a speaker? There's no speaker.
To hell with that auction.
Jay Watts is here.
Why the f*** is it called a Jeffrey? Because who could be scared of a Jeffrey?
I'm Jeffrey. I've just moved in.
Jay Watts, welcome. Black market stuff is honestly super weird. It's either cheap AF or super, super expensive, right?
No, I'm straight up selling
or
fish
comes
on
in
the black.
sizes that are like 28 times whatever it is that you are differently.
Huh?
Like you be getting some of this stuff like from overseas, like you try to order like a shirt and be like, yeah, so like I'll need an XL. Oh yeah, well out here it's 16 XL over here. Like what?
Yeah,
and then you get it still too small.
I had me a trench coat with like bags of fish. Like, yo, what's up? What are you talking about? Well, I got what you need, man. I got what you need. You need some guppies? I got the guppies.
Sounds dirty.
Yeah.
And
See, everything's
sloppy.
You a sicko.
You're gonna be walking around with bags of fish under your trench coat, like walking around, sloshing around.
Yeah, what's up? What's up?
You're gonna have to waddle around with that water in there, man.
Yeah, you're one sloshy daddy right there. What a sicko.
All right.
These crayfish I'm eating scared of me right now. I would be too. You cracking.
Why are they alive? Are they alive?
Are you eating them raw?
Like alive? Like I don't think that's healthy, man.
He's got some cooked next to a fish tank with a bunch in there, so they know.
They know what's going on.
They know what's going on.
You might be eating them raw like the president that went down at the damn meeting.
I know, right? At the Space Coast. Everybody put on your social media what goes down at the Space Coast right now.
Is that the actual name, Space Coast?
Yeah, it's like Port Canaveral area. It's cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were being funny. I thought you were just talking about Space Ghosts, like from coast to coast cartoon.
No.
Adult Swim type
No.
stuff. Okay.
Oh no, I wasn't. No, Space Coast Aquarium Society.
Okay, so that's your club name. So like when I was telling you Mozzie is my club name. Same thing.
Yeah.
Hey, do that video, man. I can see that. It's gonna be funny.
It is. I think it'd be good. Yeah.
You're hilarious. Huh. Hey man.
Now you kind of have to.
Eating that wet raw tuna. Where's Patty at?
Tuna patties. Tuna patties. I dropped the screw in the tuna.
It's the small things.
I see.
Oh snap! Anything else, Dan?
No,
What's
man. I think I'm good. I don't know what's next. They have another meeting June to kind of to go back and say, hey, what are we going to now do to make this better? And I'm assuming it will be a blacklist, but I guess we'll know then. We'll see what all the cards lay out then. I'm hoping that's the way it goes, but I guess we'll just have to see then.
Do you feel this is necessary, honestly?
I mean, there's a whitelist? No.
No, any of
a blacklist.
Just this subject coming up. Do you think it's necessary?
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea. I think Florida, they haven't reviewed the prohibited species for fish in like 20 years or 15 years. So there's probably a few fish on that list. We could probably say, hey, we don't want to bring them into Florida, or we need to bring them into Florida on a conditional permit only, meaning you can only bring them in a special case to ship them out of state. I think there's a few species like that we could get rid of.
But has there been any issues other than the snakehead, the Oscar, the ones that have always been an issue? Has there been any new issues? Because there hasn't been any new fish into the hobby, really. All these fish have been around for years. But
well,
now,
you got to think about it. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I wanted to mention this. That's a good point, Funk. Any fish that was found on that blacklist or the prohibited or conditional list have never established in Florida. Ever.
Okay.
So clearly it works. It just needs to be used more often. So getting those fish, like we haven't had a new fish introduced since like 2005, 2006. From the research that's been done in population biology and stuff.
It would probably be helpful also if the people that are making these decisions were at least educated on what the hell's going on, how many species, what they're looking like, what they, what are the reasons for it too. Like, come on, like,
dude,
not just throw stuff out there. Like you were telling me that somebody confiscated a whole mess of something, thinking they were something else, and destroyed dudes.
The snake,
dude. They euthanized this man's snakes.
Yeah.
They killed a snake out of his ones he had left, and it was completely legal, and it had about $100,000 worth of babies in it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, bro. That's ridiculous. Is that? But I wonder if is that on the higher ups, or is that on like whoever they sent out to go get them? Because I'm sure.
Well,
I'm not
funny you missed
the.
So funny you mentioned that. Also, before they spoke, the new director got up and talked about the snake incident. He came out and said two things that I thought were interesting. One, it was a mistake they made. They should not have done the animal. And then two, they're not going to kill any more captive bred animals unless in an emergency situation like in the wild or something.
Yeah.
And then three, they're not going to do anything else because of all the training gaps. They didn't follow their own protocols for killing or euthanizing animals. So they came out and said, we're not going to do this anymore until we can figure out what we're doing, basically, because they didn't know what they're doing.
I like this. Can we talk about other methods of invasive species control than just prohibition? What can we advocate for? If I'm going to mail my congressman or whatever, what should we say? How is Florida handling?
I can tell you one thing I would like, and I don't know how every store implements it, but I think we should have some humongous tank or animal thing where you could bring your bad fish back that you don't want anymore to a pet store that they would have to take them, and then they could give them over to FWC for them to deal with them or euthanize them if they were too big.
Take it to Bass Pro Shop.
Yeah, most stores don't take back animals for any reason, typically, unless they feel like they can sell it. Yeah. So like a big thing that we get sometimes here, like I tell anybody who calls our store, if they've got animals and they need to get rid of them, bring them. I don't care what it is. I'll take it. I get a lot of big goldfish, a lot of convict cichlids, stuff like that. I take them no matter what. If I can figure I can sell them, I'll figure it out. If I can't, I got a big like surrender pond. I just toss them in.
So is that
everything
goes?
Have
like the Ohio fish rescues and stuff like that type deals?
They do, because there's nowhere to deal with that. But I feel like it needs to be dealt with in a regional basis, and I think pet stores should have a tank where they could give them to FWC, and FWC should have to deal something with them.
They should have to, if they're going to be making, crazy. Look at some of the stuff that, is coming in, or you can actually help us out by taking the fish that they consider, invasive, whatever.
But I think that there was another part to what was written, kind of alluding to, instead of going, okay, can't nobody have this fish because nobody is responsible enough to. There are people that are responsible enough to have some of these animals. You have to have permits. I mean, so I personally have always loved snakeheads, and I feel like I've done enough educational videos to consider myself an educational channel. Would there be a way that I can go through all the licensing and regulate and all that stuff, paperwork, where I would be able to have a snakehead and possibly put a chip in it where I can be responsible if it ever shows up somewhere? You know what I mean?
We're chipping the fish now?
Yeah, from what I understand, I mean, it's kind of like the Arapaima deal, right? Arapaima are pretty conditional species where they got to be tagged. Everything is individual.
Yeah.
So you potentially could do that, but they would have to give you. You would have to show them.
Yeah,
It's very. I'll take this. It's very unlikely a personal hobbyist to be able to do that with the fish. It's one if it's a prohibited species, it's never going to happen. It has to be listed as a conditional species for that to even be remotely possible. Then on top of that, they're going to inspect, and if it dies, they're going to want you to freeze it for like so many years. Like there's a lot of laws behind what you got to do for those sort of permits.
Either way, I think it would be something that would be. I mean, I know I'd look into it, seriously look into it if I could have snakeheads. I mean, shoot, even having, I mean, you have to go through stuff to adopt a pit bull. You know what I mean? You have to fill out paperwork when you get a lizard.
Yeah, but with pit bulls, you probably tag yours, and then when it has pups that you're selling them, they're gonna have to. You're gonna tag like all the snakeheads in.
My point is that they do this for other animals.
Oh,
you know, they. I mean, if you're rich enough, you could have a tiger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's ways to go about it.
Not in Texas, I don't think. Though.
Tony Montana had a tiger.
Was he in Texas?
No, he was in Miami.
Okay, yeah. That tiger got loose in Texas. I think that was like all against the law. They were tripping.
But I mean, Michael Jackson, he had a monkey, Coco. You know what I mean? So there's ways to go about having some of these exotic animals.
Man, Michael Jackson had everything. Rats running around there. It was either like very condemned where he was at or very exotic. I don't know which one.
I want a gorilla.
So he can knock your whole face. I want you to have one too, so he can do whatever it is that you want him to do.
No, I would totally do all the legal steps. If they was like, yo, you can have a snakehead, but you have to fill out this, you have to prove this, you have to do that. It has to be.
What's that gonna cost?
A lot of time and money.
For me, nothing. I'll go catch one down in South Florida and be like, here it is. Here it is.
Lionfish are invasive as hell, but still legal to keep in Florida. How does that make sense?
Yeah. Dude, they still sell iguanas here in Florida. Explain that to me.
That was what I want. Kenny E has something for Funk real quick.
What did I do?
E.
Oh my God! They killed Kenny! You bastard!
Funds on so he owes me a rap.
That's on my channel.
No, it's on my channel because he brought the funds. Here we go. Funk Net Fun. I'll sing the beat.
That's not a, what the hell is that?
Go ahead, Donkey Kong, get it.
Come here, strong. Oh, you messing me up. Your cadence is all jacked, bro. You just.
All right.
You can't be throwing monkey around. No, nothing like that. Coming in strong like Donkey Kong got me. Stop, man.
All right, go ahead.
Coming in strong like Donkey Kong, dripping rain on me like the faucet's on, got me feeling.
Sing it.
Motherfucker, he just smiling. Feeling about pretty for my first year prom, so it's on. Dip, that skilly rap. Kenny came through with a super chat. Yippee yeah, yo. That's like, whoa. So now I ain't got to dance on no pole. Kenny came through with a super chat. Kenny came through with a super chat, so he gets a super chat rap.
Oh my God! They killed Kenny! You bastard!
It's been a long time since I sang that. It's been a long time since I did that. I got lazy and had a little video.
You still remember it? Yeah.
Video.
That's because that one time you was getting tongue tied and your mouth was dry and you had to drink.
Because of you.
I did nothing.
99 cent. I was giving
you $1.99. Let's get it right.
Made me feel cheap.
It has to be a heck of a job to control so no fish or animal come into Florida from the north via boats and air. They would need to build tolls just for this kind of thing. Question marks.
Boats and air. I'd take it in my Kia Soul. What are you talking about?
Hey, if you ever watched Cocaine Bear, the guy started in St. Louis and flew over Georgia and threw the coke out of the plane before he crashed. They could do the same with snakeheads and Oscars and lionfish too, right?
I saw that video where they just launched those fish for restocking from a plane. They could do a snakehead too.
Yeah.
I can totally see it being GPS or microchip,
Yes.
like a dog or cat. Okay.
Thank you, Koro. You were that's why I like you. I don't like him.
He
But that's
just
why I
now
like him.
likes you. I've always liked you, Coral. You rock out.
No, he didn't. He talked smack about you yesterday.
No, I don't. I never
Yes.
did.
He said your toes all jacked up, look like your feet are throwing up gang signs. That's
I
what
don't
he
know
said.
his toes. I just know what he writes in the chat. you hear him talking about you? That's crazy.
That's what you said. That's what you said.
I never said that. Don't put
You
words in
did
my
say
mouth.
that.
Don't put toes in your mouth. Oh, I wonder if a monkey can do water changes for the gorilla that you're gonna buy. It's okay to be banned flying monkeys, aka crybaby fake people. Okay, but Funk, are you really trying to say it's ethical to keep these exotics? Like, sure, you can jump through the legal hoops, but should you be keeping monkeys as pets and snakeheads are different?
Okay, so ultimately, I would like to keep a snakehead the correct way and have it on my channel, and I would use it as a teaching tool, because like I do feel like my channel is educational. But there are going to be so many fish, like if that were to went through originally, that should be, like, for instance, the mud skipper that would have probably been on that list, that blacklist. But the mud skipper would be
not legal to have,
as in not illegal to have. A fish like that would probably be on the list, I would imagine. Or because it can breathe air and move around, just like the bichers.
I can see that.
Yeah,
I don't know how they breed.
So like bichers, lungfish, all that type of stuff.
I mean, if I was making a blacklist, that would be something that would, throw up a red flag. Be like, maybe we should put this on there because we can't really keep them regulated to one place. But a fish like the bicher or
it's Bashir.
It's
biker.
Don't correct me. It's a bicher. It's a biker. The biker and the lung would be great as a teaching tool of evolution. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. It's like there has to be some other ways,
Said bad comparison because we should be making it harder to keep monkeys and tigers as pets, and you want it easier to keep fish.
just me. I don't care about everybody else. Look, let's get this straight. I'm in it to win it. I don't care about the next guy. I want my gorilla. I want my Bashirs, my Bichers, my Bikers.
You're right in there with those. Want what I want and forget everybody else.
Bro, I'll never forget this as a kid. There was a fish farmer when I was a kid that had like 80 acres of land, and he went and built on his land like this makeshift, like stuff that you see at a movie, like an old Western town that had like a general store and a saloon and everything. And it was like a backwater little thing, but he also had lions and freaking tigers. And he had all these exotic animals. We're talking in the middle of bro, I live in this is a little podunk, little nothing town. This dude had a whole working Western town on his property along with these freaking big old animals. He had bears. It was wild.
It was a Tiger King.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't Tiger King.
There's a pet store near me that sells fennec foxes, sloths, lemurs, sugar gliders, all kinds of crazy animals. Well, I've got a sugar glider right here.
I don't want to see it. Put it away. Put it away.
Let me show you this.
What?
Let's try this. Let's go.
I saw that video.
Woo! Oh snap!
That's food right into that fast food right there. Let's try this.
One more time. They throw the sugar glider up. Sugar glider's supposed to come back.
Oh, that's bad. I had sugar gliders, man.
Is that invasive, or was that just So now that Falcon or whatever has a taste of sugar glider meat, and he's just gonna go hunting them down.
That's fine dining right there. That's exotic. That's exotic cuisine.
That's that fast food, baby.
I had sugar gliders. They tripped me out at night. The first night I was like with a bat walking around my house because they make a weird ass noise at night. That's when they start running around making noises and stuff.
You aren't allowed to do that already. You can't bring plants to produce or whatever between state lines.
Shoot, I used to take White Castle on a plane to Puerto Rico when I was little. The frozen. Used to have suitcases full of frozen White Castle burgers. We used to take to Puerto Rico because there were so many Puerto Ricans that wanted White Castle. You coming? You coming? Hey, bring me White Castle. Bring me White Castle.
Is that how they said it?
That's exactly how it. Oh man, I got you. You bring me White Castle. I got you when you come back, man. Bring me the White Castle. And then they get lists from everybody in the damn neighborhood. You got suitcases full of frozen White Castle patties and burgers in your bag.
It's technically
It's called
Bishiricalis Clitless. A biker clit list. It's opposite of white list.
All right, well look, I got to go night. I got to go night because I got to wake up early. I got to go.
I think I'm sure everybody's glad about that. Maybe I should feel a little bit. Don't go. We were so much fun having you here. Get lost, kid.
I understand. Stop begging. Stop begging. You make us both look embarrassed.
Whatever. Danikin says the carnage of my mud skippers caused. They should have been on that list. Patrick Sida here. He says goodbye to everybody. Mickey M, you can smuggle animal in states. It happens on a large scale. You're way more likely to get caught, right? Mickey M says, Chrono, I can see that, but also a bit weird if they want to have control in doing it by playing the invasive card.
All right. Anyway, look, I'm going to head out. Y'all guys have a good night. Later, Dan. Peace.
Peace.
Dan. You slipped into the midnight. Are you about to head by to nighty night?
I'm checking in my quarantine room. Dude, I'm in my fish house. I'm looking at my fish. I got fish I keep all the saltwater fish are in the dark, so I check on them after like 6 hours to see how they're doing. All right. If I feel they don't look good, I pull them out.
Are you going to show us something?
I don't know what to show you. Everything's in the dark. I mean, what do you want to see? Actually, you can see these guys.
You're in the salt right now where all the dark is.
I'm everywhere. It's in the same building. I just got it in different buildings, different rooms.
Okay. Well, you said you got some cool stuff from out of the country.
It was cool. I've never bought fish from here before, but this is I started buying some cichlids out of Taiwan. I don't know how to switch my camera around. I guess I got to do it this way.
Oh yeah, okay, those are nice.
So sunshine, peacocks,
some sunshines in there.
Yeah, some flavescents, a few other usus.
I love.
So I don't see sunshines a lot of time that have a solid yellow body, but the ones I get from Taiwan typically have solid yellow bodies and like blue lips almost.
Oh, that's super
They're different. They're different. Let's see. Angels. You got pearl scales, some smokies.
Left too soon.
Yeah, dude. Rainbow fish, all males for the most part, so it's all the color you want. Pretty cool looking.
A lot of cars, and those are nice rainbows, yo.
Yeah, that was nice. Those are super cool.
Wait, what are those? Millenniums? What are those?
I got millenniums, turquoise, Goida rivers. No Bosmani in there. Those are yellows.
Okay.
And then some albino millenniums too.
Okay. All right.
What else I got in here? I just got these guys. These are wild caught butterfly plecos. Check those out.
Oh, sweet. Now is that just their size?
No, they'll get about 6 to 8 ish, and something like that.
Not bad. I need one of those for
I
the
don't know.
5-gallon in the school library. Or a couple.
Dude, remind me and I'll send one.
Okay.
And then check out those freaking redhead Tapajos with my thread fins and my wild angel.
Those are cold-blooded.
Aren't those nice?
Wait,
super nice.
How many of
The
those?
big ones are the redheads.
How many of those can I put in a 75?
5.
Yeah, let me. Damn, those are dope, man. I put 5 of those in a 75.
They're dope. They're really cool. What else? Wild scleras with pictus, 4-line pictus at the bottom.
Okay.
Kind of cool. What else I got in here that looks cool?
Pondfish are tough one.
Oh, yellow Acara from Colombia. They're all staring at the camera now. Those look pretty cool, all wild. They started breeding in this tank last little bit.
Can they breed with blue?
I don't know. They started breeding in the tank and everything. Now check out these freaking, huh?
You saying you don't know if the yellow card could breed with the blue?
I have no idea. Yeah, the yellows were breeding in the tank on their own.
That'd be hard.
It'd be dope. Check out how large these electric blue Texas are.
Damn!
They're freaking huge.
Those are nice.
Not a big fan of like Texas, but the big blue ones are awesome.
No, those are dope. I like the patterns on them. Let you know what's going on in the chat. Kenny E says, and he doesn't think anything should be sold that can outgrow a 300-gallon in the hobby.
Fair enough. I like it.
Chrono Work says, I totally agree. If you want to fish bigger than that, start an aquarium, get a license, and as an educational institution. That makes sense.
Oh.
Garcia says he wants Tropheus. He would like some.
Man, unless you buy in the whole group, I'm never bringing Tropheus again. No one buys those fish. Dude, tangs are the one like group of fish that nobody wants, and I could keep them as cheap as I want, and nobody would buy them. Wow. Dude, I had some of the nicest Tropheus ever. In groups, I could get anything. Any Tropheus, I can get like 15, 20 kinds, and I can get them big. And I couldn't even sell them for like $15, and they're like, let's say 2.5 inches. Like Tropheus are small, slow-growing fish. 2-inch Tropheus is like 2.5, 3 years old.
Sure.
And never could sell them. Exodons or bucktooths, nope, not anymore. I bring them in once a year, and that's about it. I don't bring them at all anymore because like you can't put them with anything else because they'll eat and tear up everything.
Yeah.
They'll tear all your fishes up.
Awesome, Texas Cichlid, says Mickey M.
They were nice. I'd ordered some jumbos for another guy who wanted some, and I bought some. So I was like, heck yeah, I'll take a few just to see what they look like.
Nice.
They look good.
You got some good stock in there, dude.
I'm working on it, dude. I'm working on it, trying to get some cool stuff here and there. We're getting there.
I'm with it. You're on your way, man. You're on your way. I'll tell you what,
sure.
Hey, listen, good people, you guys have heard it here from the man himself, man. There's been a non-decision if you're just now making it in. Oh, holy smack. What kind of biker is that?
That's the Ornates.
Oh, you got the big boys.
They're not that big. There's just a camera. They're probably 3.5-ish inches.
Well, no, they get bigger than my.
They get big.
My Delhaize's, though, right?
Oh, they for sure get bigger than that.
Yeah, you got the big ones. Do you ever get green neon? Says Toski.
No, they're mostly wild. I just haven't done a whole lot of wild neons because they typically no one has good luck with them because of how they're caught. So I haven't really felt comfortable getting them at all.
Are there any other Texas Nemics that would go well with Texas cichlids? Would they play nice with a Texano dwarf cray?
I don't know what a Texano dwarf cray is. Are you talking about like the blue, like the Mexican versions of it? Like I'm Mexican because that's what they call it in the common name, like the dwarf orange or the dwarf blues. I imagine a big Texas would probably eat them, is my thought process. Because I could probably feed them crawfish right now and they would suck them down. But the only Texas versions I know of are like the green, which I think is the original, the blue, which sometimes comes in like they call it an Escondido varietal. I don't know what that means exactly, other than I can typically see the breeding dress come out where their throats turn black. That's about all I know about them. I'm not real versed in them.
I went to record the Dennis and Barb Roseline Fight Club going on in my tank. I should do that with my bleaker eye.
Dude, we're gonna have to do a video on the fish market that does gold or platinum fish for sale. I feel fairly confident those animals are injected those colors. We're gonna have to do a video on that, and I'll show you the comparison.
Oh, swag. That'd be hard.
Dude, I bought 55 gold roseline sharks, and they all turned to original roselines in about 40 days.
What?
Those fish are like 8 times the price of a roseline shark.
So they inject them and then after the 40 days, it goes back to normal?
Dude, it was nuts. Like, not all of them faded, but you could see them fading out over like a certain day period. I'm fairly confident they do that in all the like phantom red tails. I don't know if they do it in the gar or not, but I'm fairly confident those really high-end species people pay a lot of money for that buy in gold, I bet they fade back. I bet they do.
What's cracking, DD? Man, that's crazy. Hey, if people be getting over any way they can, that is nuts.
They're so expensive too.
Jeez. That's
very expensive.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. All right, well, I'm taking off. I got to take off and check on my fishes and then go to bed.
All right, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming up, man.
Yep.
And
I'll see y'all later.
Also, you take it easy, Dan. Appreciate it. Always welcome whenever. And we'll get back with you.
Man.
He's got some good stuff going on. We'll get it back at you. We'll post your stuff up here so people can order from you and keep it up alive.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good night.
All right. And then there was one. Listen, everybody, I'm about to take off. I've been starting my morning run, jog. I did 20 minutes this morning, 3,000 steps. My original goal is 6,000 steps a day. So that took over half right there. So I get up at like 4:30 and get the running. So I ain't got to get some rest and get that going. And I will catch everybody on the next one. We're going to go back to menu items for our tables to tanks. And I really think we need to go ahead and circle back around to this 75-gallon and this Owasi filter. I'm going to break out the other Owasi. Maybe it might just do better. I'm going to need you guys' expert opinions, and we need to get that cracking. Spaghetti Nona, thank you for coming through right here at the end. Thank you guys for coming through. Fishy Biz Aquatics, you already know I'll see you guys back here again Monday, 9 p.m. Central Time. And always remember that the best stuff is the wet stuff. And also the wet stuff is the best stuff. And I won't send you out the way that you came in, but I will send you out just like this. See ya.